And this was the home of one of our greatest engineers. Find out why he's being celebrated with a new trail and why it's hoped his work is inspiring the younger generation. Well, you really do learn something new every day. I've just been reading that this archway is part of a viaduct designed more than 150 years ago by Robert Stephenson. Now, I must confess, I don't know an awful lot about this man. So, armed with this new trail, I'm hoping to find out a lot more. In Victorian times, Robert Stephenson was a national hero. Since then, he's been overshadowed by his father, the railway pioneer George Stephenson. I've come to Dial Cottage on North Tyneside, where Robert spent much of his early life. I've met up with Michael Taylor, a true Stephenson fan. At this early stage, how much engineering potential was Robert Stephenson displaying?
Well, George Stephenson, Robert's father, was determined that he should have a good education, good engineering education. One of the tasks that they tackled jointly together was the design of the dial above the door. And he conducted the mathematical calculations for the geome that casts the shadow over the dial that tells the time. And that was quite a task for young Robert, who was only 13 at the time.
Dial Cottage is one of 18 locations on the trail. Others include the famous Royal Border Bridge at Berwick, which Stephenson designed, and the Literary and Philosophical Society in Newcastle, where he was president. Everybody that's come to Tyneside will have seen the high-level bridge, and it turns out that this is one of Robert Stephenson's. What makes it so special?
Yes, well, the Tyne Gorge was a major obstacle to cross, and of course this is such a neat solution with a bridge on the top and the road hung below. Queen Victoria came, and there was thousands of people turned out and recognised it in even 1850 as an iconic structure.
Now, this statue really is a memorial to the whole Stephenson family. We've got Father George at the top there, and this figure here is a representation of Robert. He was obviously big news in Victorian times, but what's his legacy?
Yes, well, I suppose here we've got George dominating Robert, and, you know, that's public perception at the moment. Although Robert is now gaining back to the eminence that he once had. And hopefully that will inspire a new generation of engineers that we're going to need in the 21st century to tackle climate changing.
Robert Stephenson was a 19th century superstar. It's hard to believe an engineer could reach those dizzy heights today. Even so, perhaps it's time we stop to take another look at this famous northeasterner. Helen Ford on Tyneside.